For over a century, Johnny Walker has shared its bold spirit with the game of golf. Now, crafted with Devereaux Golf, Johnny Walker introduces the Johnny Walker Blue Label-inspired Sunday Golf Bag, elevating the game with sleek design, Blue Label hues, and refined gold accents. Celebrate your hole-in-one with a premium Sunday bag crafted by Devereaux Golf. Submit proof of your achievement to johnnywalker.com/blue-in-1. Please drink responsibly.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Coors Light. These days, everything is go, go, go. It's nonstop hustle all the time. Work, friends, family, expect you to be on 24/7. Well, sometimes you just need to reach for a Coors Light because it's made to chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. It is literally made to chill. Coors Light is the one I choose when I need to unwind. So when you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hi, Blue Wire listeners. I'm Greg Olson. I'm excited to partner with Blue Wire to bring you TE1, a podcast where I interview the tight ends who have revolutionized the position. Listen in as I have raw, in-depth conversations with the all-time greats like Shannon Sharpe, Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce, and George Kittle. We'll explore how the tight end position has changed over the last 60 years and what it takes to be the very best. Subscribe to TE1 from Blue Wire Studios today so you're ready for the August premiere.
The Timeline is a Blue Wire podcast.
DeAndre Ayton for three.
Welcome to the Timeline of Phoenix Suns podcast. My name is Mike, and Sam, DeAndre Ayton has made 2 3-pointers.
He has.
Out of 2 that he shot. And I want to point out, he shot them on purpose. It wasn't just the shot clock running out as he caught the ball at half court and he was heaving it up. No. One of them, he caught it from out of bounds and swished it. The other one, they actually ran a pick and pop play specifically so he could shoot a 3. That was, I think, the biggest moment of these last 2 scrimmages. Now that basketball is back on our screens, right?
No doubt, that was the biggest. Well, there were a bunch of takeaways, but that was a huge takeaway from the past 2 games. Unfortunately, the dream of 29-0 is dead. And there's, we're recording this right after we finished watching the game today against Boston, and the bench continues to be an issue that we can talk about. But I think that the starters were really encouraging in both of these games, and DeAndre Ayton's looked really, really good. And it's nice to see him shoot. I'll be honest, when he came out a couple weeks ago and said he was shooting that 3 like a midi, I didn't really take him seriously, because how many times have we heard him sort of mention that sort of stuff over the past couple of years and then proceed to not do it? It looks good right now. It looks like a solid, clean stroke, and he's 2 for 2, and 100% from the 3-point line probably isn't sustainable going forward, but yeah, it'd be awesome if just for the rest of his time in the bubble, he just kind of gets into the swing of taking 1 3 per game. Like if he just kind of makes that one of his goals, that would be cool.
Part of me was wondering, for both like DeAndre Ayton and Ben Simmons, if the fact that there's no crowd there kind of just relieves the pressure of doing something that's sort of outside of your normal comfort zone, right? Because like anytime that Ben Simmons hit a 3, I think both of the threes he's hit was at home. And the sort of uproar of the crowd almost felt like it was sarcastic when he made the 3 because of how excited they were. It was like this giant relief of all of the 76ers fans just exploding in pure joy. And he's shot a lot more. Ben Simmons is also shooting a lot more threes in the bubble. No crowd, no sarcastic applause from the away crowd, right? No like insane uproar from the home crowd that makes you feel almost self-conscious about shooting the three. Part of me was wondering if that sort of pressure is now just lifted and these guys just feel more comfortable trying things just because it's just really your team watching and then the other team watching. I think that other players can watch. It doesn't seem like that's happening, though.
I'm sure that'll happen more as we get actually into the playoffs. I think probably everyone's just focused on themselves right now, but we will see it eventually. To your point, it's a good theory, and I think the way we can test that theory is not even just with threes, but free throws. Right. I'm really interested, and I feel like I haven't seen many people bring up the point of, is everyone's free throw percentage going to go up because of the bubble? Because wouldn't you think it would? Like, just not having that pressure there,
right.
That's one of the main
That's
reasons.
Interesting.
Think about it. Like, I remember 6-7 years ago when Dwight Howard was on the Lakers. That might have even been 8 years ago now. But I remember a story leaking out of kind of the Lakers practice facility that failed season when he was with Kobe and Nash about how Dwight Howard shoots like 85% from the line in practice. Right? And I feel like we've heard that. We've heard that from, because for him it wasn't even shooting threes at the time. It was like people would get into him if he was in an opposing stadium just about hitting free throws above 45%. And, so if that's really the case about how some of these guys are capable of shooting free throws in practice, I would think that now in the bubble, in this kind of more welcoming environment, you would see free throw percentages rise across the board. But I guess we're going to see if that actually happens. But yeah, if it happens with free throws, it might as well happen with threes as well.
Yeah, it's funny because the no crowd thing, my initial reaction to that was, how is it going to affect the energy level of the guys that are playing? What I hadn't considered is, like, the Suns are better on the road than they were at home. It's kind of a road game for them regularly. But the other part that somebody, I think it was Ben or somebody on Twitter, pointed out to me that I thought was a great point as well, was how will it affect the officiating? Will the inherent home bias of the officials now be gone because there's no home crowd affecting that? And look, the Suns have a lot of young players, and I think that there's like an officiating bias against young players in general. They also make more mistakes, so it makes sense that they're going to foul more. But I do wonder if the officiating will just be a little more even across the board. These are things that I hadn't really considered when thinking about these bubble games. It's funny how once the game starts, like, different thoughts jump into your mind a little more. Like, for me, one of the things that stuck out more to me than it did when the games were on previously is the way the Suns are using Cam Johnson. I've been talking about it a little bit on Twitter. I still feel like he's not quite being used correctly. I think oftentimes he catches the ball at the three-point line just standing still there, and now he's expected to attack the closeout, which is commonly just in his face, and go to the rim, which, of course, it's great to develop that skill for him. I just feel like that should be something, they should be running him off screens a lot more. He should be catching the ball on the move a lot more than he is, especially in a scenario like this where these games don't matter. What else has stood out to you?
A bunch of stuff. Let's see, where do I start? Mikal Bridges. I guess that's where I'll start. He's stood out to me. I guess my big thing coming into this was someone has to eat up Kelly Oubre's field goal attempts, right? If Kelly's not going to play, then someone has to take those shots. And I wanted Mikal to kind of assume that role. And to his credit, so far he has. It's 2 games. I don't want to make a huge deal out of anything through 2 games, but just to give you an example, today he played 28 minutes, he took 13 shots, and he scored 16 points. The game before, 24 minutes, he took 9 shots, and in that game he had 14 points. He looks much more confident with his stroke. Like, he doesn't hesitate anymore when he gets a spot-up opportunity on the perimeter, but also he's driving more, he's attacking closeouts, he's scoring off the dribble. We saw a lot of that from him in game 1. He's continuing to do the thing where he leaks out in transition and he finds cutting lanes. And yeah, I mean, it's 2 scrimmages, but this is the most complete Mikal Bridges has ever looked as an offensive player, and that's really exciting, and that's what you want to see, because we know what Devin Booker can do on offense. He hit a ton of pull-up threes today, and we know increasingly what DeAndre Ayton can do on offense. But without Kelly, this team right now needs a third option, and I don't know. I was questioning whether Mikal could actually kind of rise to the occasion and fill that role, and based on the first 2 games, it looks like he might be able to do that.
How do you think, like, what do you feel about the fact that this is all happening without Kelly Oubre. This is a little early to talk about anything, by the way, and just
100%.
That's fine, right?
Yeah.
We have to talk about basketball. It's a podcast we record every week, but from what we've seen so far, Mikal Bridges has a lot of space and room to operate here. He's driving to the rim a lot more. I'm not sure he could do that with Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre tends to take up a lot of space driving to the rim. Do you think that matters? Obviously, this is good for him in the long run, having the ability, the freedom to do all that he's doing so far. But do you think there's a chance that at some point the Suns have to make a decision on these two guys? And I think no. Okay, what do you think about that?
No, I think you reach a certain ceiling where everyone's field goal attempts are going to be limited. You know, there's this point that you reach, and kind of, I guess you could say, Mikal's usage is capped beyond that point. But that doesn't mean, like, you throw as much talent as you want onto this roster, and ultimately some guys are going to have to make sacrifices, but the roster is still going to be better for it. Just look at Golden State. You know, Klay Thompson was still able to coexist with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Draymond Green was able to coexist with those guys as well on those teams. Doesn't mean Klay Thompson wouldn't be capable of, you know, scoring 25 points per game in his own right as a number one option on some team a few years ago, but he made it work. He made those sacrifices. And I think Mikal is capable of making those sacrifices. And I think, you know, we've also seen a lot of great stuff out of Dario Saric the past two games. And I think Dario is kind of almost operating in the same. Well, first of all, he had to leave today's game with some sort of rolled ankle or sprained ankle. So we'll see what ends up happening to him. I hope they have him back in time for next week's games. But he kind of played like Kelly Oubre a little bit. He played this high usage role where he was dribbling from the perimeter and running pick and rolls, and he was doing a lot of stuff differently than Kelly, but he was still taking up a lot of shots. And so my point is that Dario was taking these shots. It didn't prevent Mikal from still taking his own shots and finding his opportunities. So no, I'm not really worried about that.
Yeah, if anything, these guys taking more shots actually took shots away from DeAndre, and I think
that's a good point.
Probably could have shot a little bit more.
DeAndre had 7 attempts in game 1 and 8 attempts in game 2, and keep in mind he only played 20 minutes in both games, but that's not a lot for a guy who's your number 2 option. So yeah, if they're taking away anything, it's those like low post looks from DeAndre. Like, have we seen DeAndre do a post up through the first 2 games? I don't think we have.
That's interesting. That must be intentional. I guess if you move him further and further away from the basket and include a 3-pointer, then those post-ups tend to go away. And if you shoot 100% from 3, it's more valuable than any post-up that you can have anyway. That probably won't continue. They're also running a few different sets as far as how they use DeAndre, and they're running this sort of cross play where he catches it on the right wing and dribbles towards the left wing for a handoff, where he actually takes a few dribbles on that handoff. There's some freedom on what he can do depending on how the defense reacts to that set, and that's an interesting one. We'll see how that develops going forward. DeAndre Ayton, I think there were times where he impressed me. There were times where I was a little disappointed in what he was doing. I think their timing and their chemistry on defense as a team is still not quite right, but I'm not going to worry too much about that yet. I do think that a lot of DeAndre Ayton, when he frustrates me, a lot of that is shying away from contact a little bit, whether that be offensively or defensively. And honestly, I don't want him to get hurt in these scrimmages anyway, so I'm going to save any sort of criticism as far as that goes until the games that count actually start here. And they're playing real minutes. Like, they're not playing real minutes yet here either. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on that to see if that defense can get a little better going forward. There is one new player on the Suns that we should talk about. What do you think about Cam Payne so far?
That's a funny question, because I had a kind of not even a hot take, but I think I just got carried away a little bit with the tweet about Cam Payne early on in this game. Because I'll be honest, Cam Payne really impressed me in game 1, and I shouldn't get carried away because we've been burned before, right? We all remember Mike James. We remember point guards like that in the past for the Suns who are kind of these spark plugs, but it's just in the nature of the existence of that type of player that they would be hot and cold. And I guess we definitely saw that from Cam Payne tonight. In game 1, he was really good. Tonight, he shot 1 of 7 from the field, and it was also disappointing because he had this opportunity all throughout the entire fourth quarter to be that guy who takes control once Booker and Bridges and Ayton were all off the floor, and Saric. and to kind of assert himself as that spark plug as he was brought in to do, and it never happened. But I will say I am mostly impressed with Campaign. He is far, 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 far better, like in another universe, than Ty Jerome as a backup. He's far better, I think, than Elie Okobo right now, too. And like what impressed me about him in Game 1 was every single shot that Campaign made. Let me pull up that box score real quick. He had 11 points in the last game on 5 of 7 shooting, and all 5 of those made field goals were unassisted. It was just Campaign creating his own offense. A screen comes, top of the key, he steps right around it, pulls up into a 3. He hit a nice like step back 18-foot midi at one point. He had a couple drives that ended in these nice pretty layups. So, all around just kind of playing that spark plug role that no one else on this bench can play. So I thought that was really exciting in his first game. We didn't really see it in the second game, and I think obviously he's not a good enough... I don't know. I don't want to say anything else about it.
Well, I mean, here, I'll say some stuff.
I was going to make a prediction, but then I just have to remind myself we're 2 scrimmage games in. It's way too early to say anything about Campaign's future. I'll just say that in the present, he's already better than what I was expecting him to be.
I will say this. I expected him to be the best point guard off the bench right away because he's the oldest. Honestly, that's the main reason. You have a guy like Ty Jerome who was thrust into the starting lineup of the first scrimmage game, and he was sort of fine but targeted on every single defensive play by the other team, by the Jazz, going forward, especially in the second half of that game as they made adjustments. And then you have Campaign coming off the bench, and he did fine. There was some time in this Boston game where he was playing with Javon Carter, Ty Jerome, Cam Johnson, and Cheick Diallo. You can't judge him based on that play.
That's a good point, because like, what the fuck are you supposed to do with that?
What's his role in that lineup? Is he supposed to all of a sudden be like a scoring point guard where he has to handle the scoring burden? Who's the offensive threat? It should be Cam Johnson. They're not quite using him right.
There's no threat. Well, I mean, first of all, like, here's the thing. That lineup is just a disaster. I don't even blame Monty for that, because you need to get Baines back. You need to get Sarge was out of the game at that point. You need to get Kelly back, right? But like that, running that lineup, the 3-point guard thing, first of all, doesn't even make sense because Javon can't create offense and Ty can't create offense. But also because you're running 3-point guards.
It's not really 3-point guards, right?
It's not. It's just not. It's like 3 off-ball shooting guards who are undersized.
And afraid to shoot.
And like, how do you, like, you want to create more plays for Cam Johnson. Okay, run him off screens. Who's setting the screen? Ty Jerome and Javon Carter are going to set screens for Cam Johnson to run around. Like, there's just nothing about that. And then Cheick was killing me tonight, dude. I like Cheick Diallo. He's got a cheap team option for next year that I'm still very much considering just accepting, because why not? You need a third-string center anyway, or a power forward, whichever one you consider him more of. But, dude, like, first of all, the hands, the cement hands and dropping passes, and then, like, he took a weird kind of turnaround 15-footer at one point that got blocked, and he was just all over the place in the worst way. And, so he was killing me. And to your point, that lineup just, there's nothing that Campaign can do with that.
Yeah, I don't blame him for any of that. I think there was some time at the end of the second quarter where he was on the floor with the starters instead of Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio played some extended minutes without Devin Booker on the floor, so they switched out Campaign there, and it looked fine. In a smaller role, I think he'll do fine. Now, having said that, look, I obviously Campaign can change my mind if he takes some sort of leap and becomes a little bit of a better player in what could potentially be his last chance to make it in the NBA. But I mean, no matter what, the Suns have a problem where they have the worst guard rotation on the bench of any team in the NBA, and I don't think that's even arguable at this point. And they have to solve that. And if they go into next season thinking Campaign's going to be the solution to that, that's a disaster. So, look, maybe he'll change my mind. I'm willing to say that, but I don't see it.
That's the take. I get it, and I'm almost glad you brought it up. I just don't want to like put my foot down and kind of give that bold of a statement yet, because I want to give him a chance. But I guess like it begs the question. So what would Campaign need to show you in 8 bubble games, assuming that's all we're getting, to be like, I actually want him as the primary backup point guard next year? How good would he have to be?
I think that partially depends on if there's some sort of scoring option on the bench outside of whoever that backup point guard is. Because I think he could. like here's something that I was looking at, and I'm gonna piss off some Suns fans by even mentioning this. But say the Suns sign one of those power forwards, right? That are available. We talked about it in our mailbag podcast. Gallinari, Christian Wood, Davis Bertans, Jeremy Grant. One of those guys gets signed. Now, at that point, you have to consider either putting Mikal Bridges or Kelly Oubre on the bench. I'm not okay putting Mikal Bridges on the bench going forward. We're at the point now where we have to say that Mikal Bridges is an absolute core piece of this team going forward, and that means that you could potentially move Kelly Oubre to the bench. I'm not sure that he'll want to do that. That means that Kelly Oubre becomes what could potentially be a trade piece for the Suns as soon as this coming off season with 1 year left on his contract. If you use that Kelly Oubre contract to try and find some sort of bench pieces that could be like more expensive than what would normally be a bench piece, but something like I threw out Evan Fournier as an example of someone that the Suns could get because he makes almost the same as Kelly Oubre, and say you draft Devin Vassell, so you have enough backup forwards with Cam Johnson, Devin Vassell. Now you have Evan Fournier in that backup guard spot. If you have something like that, who's an absolute go-to scorer coming off the bench, a potential 6th Man of the Year candidate, then you can probably get away with a guy like Cam Payne.
Well, Fournier is a funny guy because he's benefited from playing. You know, if you've been on the Orlando Magic for the past 8 years, as Fournier has been. He's never come off the bench. I don't think so. I think he's been a starter for them because you can just do that. So he also, there needs to be some level of buy-in there to be like, hey, you're going to be our 6th man, but it's because you're going to make the playoffs. And he needs to be certain that that's actually what's going to happen in order to want to pull the trigger on that trade.
Yeah, and it's not. Look, I'm not even saying that this is something that the Suns should do. And Fournier has 1 year left on his contract as well. He's 27 years old. He probably wants a big giant contract after that. I'm not sure that he'll get it. I think it's a lot more likely that Kelly Oubre does, and that complicates things for the Suns. I just think there's such an opportunity for the Suns to improve. I know we're getting into off-season talk already. The games haven't even started yet, but there's such a huge opportunity for the Suns to improve this offseason at the forward position, and that means that what they have to do to shore up that bench position is going to have to come in potentially different ways other than free agency. And now we're going to talk about that later and get into more details on that. I just wonder, a lot of this is coming up now that I'm seeing Mikal Bridges become a little bit better in a lot of different areas, and that makes a huge difference for his game because he's so important. I just can't imagine benching him going forward in the future.
Let it be known,
Jeremy Grant.
Mike V. Hill just let 2 scrimmage games that mean nothing, convince him to trade Kelly Oubre.
Oh, I've been talking about.
We've both been talking about it for a while. But I guess
I like Kelly Oubre a lot. I'm just not sure if he's the best fit on this team. And
I get it.
And you can't let him go for nothing.
I want to slow you down a little bit, man. It's been 2 scrimmage games without Kelly. And look, Mikal looks good. He looks like a more complete offensive player. He's still not Kelly Oubre offensively. Not even close.
Right. Yeah, but I don't think there's any world where he doesn't provide more value on the court than Kelly Oubre does. I'm sorry. I just don't see that. And I guess if you just look at the box score, maybe you can say that he does, but I just don't think so. I think the defensive IQ of Mikal Bridges makes such a massive difference on the court, regardless of what the scoring is, and I think the scoring will get better. So I don't know. I'm saying this now. Kelly Oubre is going to be in a lot of trade rumors, period, because that's the way the media works.
He is.
And I'm looking at what could potentially be out there for him right now because of the guys that are available in free agency playing essentially the same position as Kelly Oubre. So I guess we're going to have to get used to it as Suns fans, right?
Yeah. So to return us to the original question, because I asked you a question. No, it's totally fine. We just got sidetracked a little bit on off-season stuff. So it sounds like if the Suns improve their bench thoroughly enough, then you're okay with keeping Cam Payne as the backup point guard if he's also good over the next 8 games.
Yes.
Is that your final answer? Are you locking that in?
Okay, so what I'm saying is you can get away with it in certain scenarios where the backup point guard maybe isn't as important as it tends to be in the lineups that we have. Because the Suns have a general shot creation problem outside of Ricky Rubio and Devin Booker. Ricky Rubio, of course, not necessarily creating for himself, but for others. Devin Booker being able to do both. If you find someone that can create their own shot on the bench, then you can fill out the backup guard position in different ways. If you're relying on the backup guard position to be the general shot creator for himself or others on the bench, you're going to have to look at guys better than what we have. And I don't think you're going to solve that in the draft either.
No, you're
I mean,
not.
you could get lucky and solve that in the draft, but I don't think that's guaranteed either. Even some of the best guards that are available are like catch and shoot shooters mostly.
Some guys in the draft are great at that. You get the number 1 pick, you pick Anthony Edwards, then maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, you've solved that problem, but it's not going to do anything for you in year 1. Right?
Yeah.
So I think even if you do get one of the prospects where self-creation is kind of their thing, it's a process that the Suns do not have time for with Devin Booker's kind of, I almost said biological clock ticking. That's not what I meant. But that is kind of what I mean. You know, like Devin Booker.
We need to get him pregnant with the playoffs.
And with that, we head to break.
I
am looking forward to the guy we're bringing on in a couple minutes. You take us away.
He's had a week. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it's Andrew Leezus, who is now on the hook to tattoo his own face because of an unlikely thing happening, which we talked about at the beginning of this podcast. We'll be right back. Have you ever heard of DealDash.com? It's the best, most honest bidding site where you can win things you'd never expect at a price you'd never believe. They have over 1,000 auctions every day on electronics, appliances, beauty products, home decor, and even cars. Here's how it works. It's like an auction, but every item starts at $0 and only goes up 1 cent every time you bid. The kicker is that the auction clock restarts after just 10 seconds. That means every time you bid, everyone else has 10 seconds to answer or the item is yours. If you go ahead and buy now, Deal Dash is offering our listeners an extra 100 free bids upon sign up on top of their other discounts. Go to DealDash.com and use the offer code TIMELINE or DealDash.fm/timeline. That's DealDash.fm/timeline. Sports are coming back, and so are your chances to bet on your favorite teams and events. Major League Baseball is finally kicking off this week, and there's no better place to start wagering than our exclusive partners, BetOnline. Check out all the odds, futures, and props to bet on, all available 24/7. And with the return of sports, BetOnline sat down with former pro players Eddie George, Harold Reynolds, and 7-time NBA champ Robert Horry. See what they had to say on what it will be like playing without fans in a series they're calling Fandemic. Visit betonline.ag for all your odds and up-to-date sports news. Remember to use the promo code BlueWire to receive your welcome bonus. That's promo code BlueWire. BetOnline, your online wagering experts. All right, joining us is the man, the myth, the legend, the
troll,
the BR reported Twitter troll, Andrew Leezus. Andrew, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's it going, boys?
You know, not bad, not bad. Basketball's back. It's nice to see it on my TV. Sometimes more fun than others. But
Agreed.
You had an interesting week. We got to go through your week. I want to try to, I guess more than a week, I want to try and go through each thing sort of chronologically that's happened to you in the last few weeks and just get your reaction to all of this. So first thing that you
preferably
did.
not everything. I'd rather not talk about my girlfriend breaking up with me, but outside of that, we can talk about everything else.
We might, we'll take that off the podcast.
All right, cool. I appreciate it.
First thing that happened is you tweeted, we'll talk about the initial tweet. The first thing you did is you tweeted, if DeAndre Ayton makes a 3 in Orlando, you will get a dominating face tattoo. Just starting there, how serious was that tweet?
It was semi-serious. It wasn't like I wasn't like in court swearing on the Bible serious, but I mean, sometimes, can I cuss on here?
Yeah, say whatever you want.
Of course.
Sometimes I wake up, or I wasn't it was like 5 p.m., but sometimes I don't tweet anything all day, and I see it's like 5 p.m., I'll tweet something. I'll just tweet some bullshit real quick, just see what's what's popping. And then, so I had actually had a whole argument with my girlfriend because I said that I wanted to get a face tat, and she said she would leave me if I did. And then I asked everybody else in my life if they would like me if I got a face tat, and they all said no. So then I'm like, I'm gonna get a face tat. Like, that's kind of like what my thinking was. but I'm like, I need an excuse. Like, I want an excuse to do it. So I just, and then I saw like Aiden's quotes about how he's shooting them like middies, which I didn't know if that was a good thing or not. But
Right.
he was doing that. I'm like, all right, I'll just tweet it. He's not gonna shoot it anyways. He's been talking about this for 2 years, so it's just like it was just like a funny tweet, is what it was.
So you didn't think he was going to shoot it? Is that what you thought?
In my head, it was kind of like also like, I'm like, if he shoots it, cool. Like, I'll be happy. And if he makes it, like, I'll be happy too. And like, nobody's even gonna think about this tweet because like I tweet dumb stuff all the time that nobody cares about. But shout out to the Suns who were
kept the receipts.
In
their bookmarks.
Shout out to Cody Cunningham and Tana Hughes, two great people. And yeah, they tweeted it like instantly. They had it like in the drafts. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, it kind of blew up.
So the next thing that happened chronologically is the game. The game started. The Suns are playing. DeAndre Ayton catches the ball in the corner on an out-of-bounds play from Ty Jerome. Rudy Gobert is sagging off of him. He does not hesitate. He shoots. He makes the three. It's clean. It's a swish. The form is nice. He looked confident. What were your thoughts when that happened?
Like, he actually shot it. I was like, let's go. Like, I literally tweeted, like, yo, you guys have no idea what this is going to do. And, like, I was trying to record it, put it on Twitter, get the clip, get the retweets real quick. My brother kept FaceTiming. I'm like, bro, I answered. I'm like, chill out, bro. I'm trying to record this. I'll call you right now. And then I recorded it and I posted. And I was like, wait, why do I have, like, 1 billion notifications? And I saw, like, a verified account tweeted at me. I was like, who's that? It's probably, like, Steve Benko or something like that. And then I was like, and it turns out it was the Suns with, like, a screenshot of what I said. Yeah, shout out Steve. But I was like, yeah. And then I didn't know so many people were going to care. Because the Suns have, like, tweeted at me before. Like, that's not, like, a flex, but, like, the Suns have tweeted at me before. Like, people don't really care because it's just, like, whatever. Like, they tweeted at, like, a lot of people. Like, but then, like, everybody started caring. And then it was kind of like, all right, everybody was, like, then I started getting DMs. And, like, I mean, it got crazier as the night went along, though, for sure.
Yeah, because that's when, at that point, the Phoenix Suns official Suns account, just at Suns, tweeted a screenshot of your tweet and said they have the receipts, and then it blew up, and then everyone was tweeting it. It seems like at that point, because it was the Suns, right? The Suns have probably 1 million followers, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Bleacher Report reported on it. I think Sports Nation was the first on it. ESPN sent me a notification on my phone later that night.
And they retweeted it on their account.
They retweeted it on their account. NBA on ESPN
I didn't even know that was
it probably got
at first.
millions and millions and millions of people got their eyes on this tweet. What did that feel like? What was your reaction at that point?
Well, honestly, I didn't even know it was happening at first because, like, after the game, like, after all that, I was working out. So I really didn't know that was happening until, like, my friend, he FaceTimed me. He's like, yo, Sports Nation posted it and they tagged me. I'm like, oh, they tagged me? That's lit. I'm like, that's dope. And then I saw like, ESPN on NBA retweeted. I'm like, oh, that's sick. And then like, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, damn, I forgot like how the internet is though. And then like, I started getting a lot of mean. Believe it or not, I got a lot of mean messages.
Like what?
I believe it.
This guy, he tweeted at me just directly. He said, get the tattoo now, bitch. And I said, I'll sleep with your girlfriend. And then I didn't reply to anybody, but he was just such like a frat boy looking dude, and I didn't appreciate him. So I just told him that I would have sex with his girlfriend for no reason. But then like if you look at my Instagram, it has hundreds and hundreds of comments and messages. People just they call me names and say like I was literally streaming that night, like right after that, just like talking on stream. And this guy's like, did you get the face tattoo yet? I'm like, it's been like an hour and I haven't left my house. Like, I don't know like how you think this works, but I just didn't get it yet.
Okay, but so I know I'm jumping ahead here. Real quick, though. So it's like 2 or 3 days later now. Are you still dealing with people reaching out to you like that? Like, are
100%, like a lot, like every day. Like it's DMs. Where it's really bad is Instagram. Instagram is the worst.
That's interesting.
Like,
I wouldn't have expected that, to be honest.
Oh, Instagram's awful. It's terrible.
Instagram. I don't need to be posting pictures like that on Instagram because I'm ugly. But like, I post like Sun stuff in. Like under my last Kelly Oubre tweet, it's just like, it kind of pisses me off because people are just like face tat, dude.
Yeah.
This guy, he says face fucking tat, and then this guy says, "Where's the face tat?" Like, and it's just like they all are commenting on my latest Instagram post, and they're still DMing me. Like, I have so many requests of people just telling me to get it, this guy, I posted a picture of myself on my story, and this guy that I don't know, he just replied. He's from Spain. He just replied face tat. That's it. Like a command. Like I'm a puppy. He said face tat.
I mean, there's one obvious way to get rid of all of those responses. That way is to get a face tattoo of Dominatin'. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you have to get that, but what is your plan? What are your thoughts around this?
Well, yesterday when I woke up, I wanted to get a temporary one because...
Yeah, I was going to say that
it's
would be
a good
the funniest
solution. It's a
that
good
would be
solution.
the funniest fake out that you could possibly do is post the picture with the temporary one and then fuck with everyone.
Oh, it's like, here's the thing. We talked about, like, under the tweet, I did clarify it only counted if it was in the 8 regular season games. So, like, people are saying you're not a man of your word. Technically, if I was a man of my word, I wouldn't do anything. If that's like the card you want to play, I don't have to do anything if I want to be a man of my word.
Might I remind you? One of the people who said the phrase "man of your word" was Devin Booker himself on the podcast episode.
That's different. That's different. That's different because he's dude. Devin's a fucking troll. Like he instigates. He's funny though. Like people don't know that like how actually like funny the dude is. Like he's really funny and he just kept egging it on. Even like after the podcast was over and we were still streaming, he kept egging it on. I'm like, dude, you got to chill out, man.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what we're talking about right now, what happened later in this week, it was the next day, right after this all blew up, you recorded and streamed a Call of Duty stream that included Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges. The same night.
Yeah.
Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges,
Yeah.
which you then released out as a podcast on your podcast, which is called Every Day is Sun's Day, right? And that is an interview, a conversation that you had with Devin Booker. A little bit of Mikal Bridges sort of sprinkled throughout. We found out Mikal Bridges is known as Fig Newton by his friends on the team, which was...
I had to get the scoop for you guys.
It was vital.
You did. You got the scoop. That was really exciting.
I shouted you out, Mike. I did.
Yeah, you did. First of all, you chatted him out, and you also pulled up the actual basketball reference page. There was like a pause in the podcast for 10 seconds while you were searching up the page.
Bro, like, I was so just unprepared. Like, I'm the worst journalist of all time. Like, if you're listening to this right now, don't go listen to my podcast.
I loved it.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, it was really funny.
It was like performance art. It was so fascinating.
It's because it was interesting because we were playing Call of Duty like while we were doing it. It was like there was
split focus.
You guys missed so many conversations because like I would get killed. I'd be like, this guy's a bitch, and then like Devin would get killed. He's like, fuck that guy. It's like, yeah, we probably don't want to put all that stuff in the podcast. Right. So honestly, people missed a lot. Like I could probably like I don't know if I do have the stream saved. Like there's a lot of funny clips in there, but I had Mikal there, and I was like, I also told him like I don't know how to pronounce your name. Like I say Mikal. I don't know, dude. Like I asked him like how do you pronounce it, and then he told me, but I didn't. Honestly, I really wasn't paying attention. But so I still don't know. But then I was like, you know what? Mike and Sam are always asking like what's his nickname, and I see him like, all right, let me ask him. So I bring up. I'm like. Yeah, they're on Basketball Reference. He's like, really? Let me hear them. I'm like, okay. And then so I get my phone. I'm like, I look at Mikal Bridges Basketball Reference so I can see the nickname.
Your hands are sweating.
And
like,
I read him.
Gotta do this fast.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, here you go. And then I'm reading him the nicknames. He's like, hell no, it's not Noodles. And then I called him Go Go Gadget. He didn't really like that one either, but he said his high school coach called him that.
Oh, so that one's real, at least.
Yeah. No, he said Noodles was too. That he's been called that before, but he doesn't really like. He doesn't like it. I don't think he likes praying mantis. I actually think that's kind of cool, to be honest.
I mean, like Kevin Durant didn't like the Slim Reaper, which is like one of the coolest nicknames.
That's crazy.
So,
that was a great one.
It's difficult because I don't know. Do the players have to like it? I guess they kind of do. Like you're never going to call them that in person. Like here's the thing. I'll never have the opportunity to call them these names to their face. You're the only one that does. So I guess it really only matters if you get the approval on the nicknames for that. How did that come about, by the way? That whole conversation,
that whole night? I was streaming and I was about to get off. I was like, it's like 9 or 10. I'm like, I'm kind of low-key tired. I might just chill out for the rest of the night. And then I checked Discord and they were all in Discord. They were just playing. I was like, I'm about to hit them up if they're down to play. And then like Dave on reply like, yeah, let's get in here. I'm like, I'm down. And then we started playing, but I didn't think Booker was gonna want to do the podcast until I got in. He's like, let's record. I'm like, what you mean? Like we're not gonna play? He's like, no, like while we're playing. I'm like, okay, like that's pretty cool. And I told my chat, I'm like, I'm gonna stay on, I guess, and we're gonna do like a live stream of the podcast / just playing games with D-Book, Bridges, and Daylon.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think you did a good job, and I think anyone would have been probably nervous in that scenario because it's like we're all fans. Like you're ultimately you're a fan of this guy, and I think you handled it well. I think you guys have a good rapport. You sounded like friends talking. You know.
Nah, the banter was like really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you guys were throwing a lot of jokes back and forth. Like when you were asking, you were just pulling questions from the chat, right? Like you were asking Devin about his favorite shoe, and then you were talking about like you're trying to get the shoe, the Leezus 2s.
Yeah, Leezus 2s.
Oh yeah, top five rappers.
Out,
but then Devin chimes in. He's like, "What happened to the ones?" You know, just like stuff like that was really funny throughout.
Yeah, I said I'm next level though. I got to get the Leezus 2s to start off. I'm not starting at ones, but no, yeah, I mean. The first few times that I talked to him, it was definitely like, wow, this is like Devin Booker. Like, that's crazy. And now, like, we have become friends, which is fucking crazy to say. Like, because and I have a great relationship with him, his brother. And it's just like, it's really sick. And like, he was talking about on the podcast, kind of like with him and Drake, how he was a big Drake fan before you met him.
Right.
And then you meet him, and then it becomes a respect thing. I think, as crazy as it sounds, like me and Devin Booker have a respecting for each other now. It's not like, oh, I'm such a big fan, or it's not like, oh, he's a crazy fan. It's just like I'm Andrew, he's Devin. Like we get along. Like we have kind of like the same personality too, in the sense that
you're close in age, right? It's almost the same.
Yeah,
age.
we're close in age. We're we both have the same kind of sense of humor, where it's kind of
play the same games,
tongue in cheek. Yeah. We play the same games. We're both incredibly competitive, so it's like, it's just. He's a cool dude, and it's kind of crazy. Like we just became friends out of nowhere.
Well, I appreciate that you did that.
He won't play you one-on-one, Andrew.
Oh, he's scared.
We did
he
learn
dodged
that.
It.
Oh, he's scared. Is that what it is?
He's scared, man. I'm not, bro. Actually, today, like I tweeted, there's no. You just can't convince me that Frank Kaminsky or Ty Jerome could beat me one-on-one. And then like he's like, they're 7 foot and 6'5", and I just reply like, they're food. Like nope, against me, like it's over. I'm nice. I think that's like the new narrative I'm taking, that I'm just like. I'm an NBA level like talent, but like I just got hurt.
Yeah, I'm glad it was you, because I think if it were me in that chat and I learned last second that Mikal Bridges was also going to be on the chat, I think I would have struggled to not make the interview a Mikal Bridges interview.
Yeah.
Look, Devin Booker he doesn't, to be honest, Devin Booker doesn't do like a lot of press for the level of stardom that he has. Like, he actually does kind of a small amount, but it's still, like, way more than we get of Mikal Bridges. Like, we get almost nothing of Mikal Bridges. It would have been, I would have struggled to do that. But I think what the people want is a Devin Booker conversation. So I think you did it right. There was a nice mix of the two of them, and you did a good job.
It's just crazy, though, because, like, if you told me 4 years ago this was going to happen, like, when I was 18, and, like, that's around the same time that the Suns drafted Booker, probably a year after. It's just like, I was such a big fan. I'm still like a huge fan of the guy, but it's like, I don't know. A lot of times I feel like I'm not even deserving of it. Like I just tweet stuff, and like for some reason people start, like, I don't do like even half of the work that you and Sam do. That like it's really good work and actually insightful. I just tweet dumb shit, and I'm like, and like I feel really lucky and like blessed, and it's cool to me. But like when I was thinking about it leading up like a few days when Booker agreed to do it. Because he really doesn't like to do podcasts. He doesn't like to do interviews. He doesn't like that stuff. It was really like a favor, like, is what it was. And I told him that. I'm like, dude, I appreciate this. Like, you have no idea what this is going to do for me. Like, and it was just like, he didn't have to do that at all. And I told him that on the podcast. And it was just like, I genuinely, seriously am so thankful and like appreciative of that.
Yeah, you did a great job. And I think, don't discount yourself too much. You're funny on Twitter, which I think is a necessary thing, especially for Suns fans. There's not a lot of levity, I think, with a lot of Suns fans, especially after the last 10 years of squalor. Yeah. But also, I think you rep them well. Like, you're a huge Suns fan, and you always repped DeAndre Ayton, you always repped Devin Booker. Now, speaking of that, one other thing that happened this week. So let's recap what happened so far. You tweeted that you're going to get a dominating face tattoo if DeAndre Ayton hits a three. He hits a three. The Phoenix Suns call you out. It goes viral, like for real viral, to the point where the next day ESPN was talking about it on their broadcasts. Yeah.
I just raised my hand here in person like I'm in school. Luka saw me. Luka tagged Ayton on the Bleacher Report thing, and I thought that was like the sickest thing ever, because Luka is my favorite prospect of all time.
I'm putting 2 and 2 together here.
Wait a second.
Luka
So,
Doncic
Andrew,
tagged DeAndre Ayton, and then DeAndre Ayton
Wait.
blocked you.
No, here's what happened. Luka tagged DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Andrew tweeted being like, "Yo, Luka tagged DeAndre. Luka's like my favorite prospect ever."
Oh.
And then DeAndre blocked you, and that's why.
That's where we're coming down. We're coming down with the solution here because the last thing that happened, I mean, not the last thing, but the most recent big event here is for some reason DeAndre Ayton of all people blocked you on Twitter.
I think it's because of the last DM I sent him. I was kind of an asshole.
What's that?
I said, "Happy birthday! I love you so much, bro. Nothing but the best from me on out." So I don't blame him. Like, I don't blame
It all
the
comes
guy.
down. I think Sam hit the nail on the head here. I think it all comes down to the Sun Civil War of 2018, which was Luka Doncic versus DeAndre Ayton. This is a fallout from that
Nobody
war.
really talked about me back then, or like cared about me. I fucking don't take that off the podcast. That sounds stupid. I don't want to. I don't want to.
It's too late. It's here.
Back
now.
then, God damn it. Okay, well, like I deleted so many tweets. Like I was just slander like Aiden all the time, like as a prospect.
I remember.
Because I wanted Luka so bad, man. And like I've never felt like more of a clown than after I cried after we won the lottery and I called my best friend. I'm like, we're gonna get Luka. Like we actually got Luka. Like for the first time, we got a prospect that we wanted and loved. And people were like, dude, we're taking 8. I'm like, you guys are so dumb. We're not taking 8, dude. We have Igor. The day I think that I gave up on life was probably the day that that he had the workout here and he said he knows he's going number 1. I was like, wow, we're really not taking Luka.
Yeah.
I was like,
And look at you now.
Happens.
Now you got his name tattooed on your face, or pretty soon you will.
I'm actually gonna get a Luka Magic 77 tattoo on my head.
Wonder Boy.
Now, because I'm getting a Wonder Boy tattoo on my head because he blocked me. So.
All right, Andrew Leezus. For those of you who haven't already, make sure to go listen to his podcast that he recorded with Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges. It's very fun, very funny, and you can hear a bit of that competitive side of Devin Booker and I think it's the closest we've gotten to see what their actual personalities are like, sort of outside of a normal formal interview scenario. They're kind of joking around. They're being more casual, which I appreciated. And, of course, follow Andrew Leezus on Twitter. You can find him pretty easily. Just search Andrew Leezus. Anything else that you'd like to talk about, Andrew, before we let you go?
Let's see. I mean, not really, but I mean, I am 50 followers away from 5,000, which that's kind of like a big deal.
Go follow him.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
By the
You
time
follow
people
me?
hear this, you might be over 5,000. So
You'll be over by the time people hear this.
Dude,
for sure.
also idea
Okay.
time. Really quick before we end this, I'm starting a YouTube channel soon.
Oh,
like,
hell
that's
yeah.
kind of like a plug, but like I'm starting a YouTube channel because I feel like I'm on Twitter and I'm kind of on Instagram a little bit. I haven't done YouTube, but
You're on Twitch too, obviously.
I'm on Twitch too. Oh, Twitch TV / Andrew Lozoya. You can go sub and follow. I play video games. I'm pretty mediocre at them, but I'm loud. So that's kind of my brand. I'm really like mediocre, but I'm loud. So it's like, yeah, like
that'll
this
get
guy.
you a long way in life. So
Yeah.
Andrew, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it, guys.
DeAndre Ayton for 3.
DeAndre Ayton for 3. Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton for 3.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Ro. Confidence is everything. Women can sense it. And trust me, they love it. But if you're in your head worried about performance, that swag, unfortunately, gentlemen, it's gone. Rose Sparks keeps you ready. When the moment hits, you can step up like a superhero and handle your business. No doubt, just confidence.
Fellas, Rose Sparks gets you ready fast, dissolving under your tongue and working in 15 minutes on average. No waiting, no missing the moment. Plus, it stays active up to 36 hours.
So when the mood hits, you can go back to back to back, round after round after round. Ro connects guys with medical provider 100% online, so there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers. Go to ro.com/sparks to see if you qualify. If prescribed, new sexual health patients gets $15 off Sparks on reoccurring plan. Connect with the provider at ro.co/fourth to find out if prescriptions Ro Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/fourth for $15 off your first order. If approved, treatment ships directly to their door. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, and/or manufacturing review. For full safety information, go to ro.co/safety info.